Israel's Supreme Court has approved the extradition of sex crime suspect Malka Leifer to Australia. Leifer was the former principal of an ultra-Orthodox Australian day school and is wanted on 74 sexual assault charges, including rape, at the institution. Now, when the accusation surfaced in 2008, Leifer fled to Israel, where she also holds citizenship. And since 2014, she's been fighting against attempts to get her extradited back to Australia for trial, with claims that she's mentally unfit. But Israeli courts claim that she's faked psychological illness and can be extradited despite her latest appeal. Well, joining us for more on this is Manny Wax, activist and chief executive officer at Kol Ve'oz, an organization dedicated to combating child sexual abuse, specifically within the Jewish community. So, Manny, what happens next in the case against Malka Leifer?
Hi, and thank you for having me. Firstly, it's an incredible day for justice. These courageous sisters, the three brave, Nicole, Dusty, and Ellie, have shown incredible leadership, determination, and dignity in combating the most difficult aspects of their lives has been playing out in the public domain. So, firstly, we are so happy and delighted for them. In terms of the next steps, the Israeli Justice Minister is expected to sign off on the extradition. He has already stated publicly that he's waiting to do that, and will do it as soon as it comes to his desk. He then has 60 days in which to, once he signs it, to extradite her to Australia.
Now, your organization specifically fights against child sexual abuse in the Jewish community. How prevalent of an issue is this?
I should note that we've changed names from Kol Ve'oz to Voice CSA recently, Voice CSA being child sexual abuse. In terms of the statistics, we can look at Israel, and there have been, firstly, an annual report by the National Council of the Child, Moatza L'Shalom HaYeled, as well as the Haifa University, where they interviewed thousands of children. And the statistics used there is about 1 in 5 children, just under 20% of children in Israel endure some form of sexual abuse. Those numbers are consistent with numbers elsewhere in the world, including in Australia and in the US and in other places. There are different segments within our community where, of course, there are increased vulnerability, whereas in other places, increased awareness and determination to address these issues.
Now, in many countries, there are platforms through which communities have access to information about local sex offenders. But here in Israel, there seems to be very limited development when it comes to monitoring offenders and protecting communities. Why is that the case?
There are a multitude of approaches to ensure that our children are protected. There is no one solution. There's no silver bullet here. It is a community-wide response and responsibility. Our leaders need to do the right thing. Parents, we can't just say we expect our teachers and the educators to teach our children. We need to take an active role in this. And of course, institutions and elsewhere, we all have a part to play in this important role in protecting children, in ensuring that if anyone has endured abuse, that they will feel comfortable to share that information and perhaps to go to the police and to share, to hold their persecutor to account as well. So there are a range of approaches to it, and we are becoming a society that's much more educated on this issue, and that's a progress that's most welcome.
Well, what does it mean to you and your organization? Of course, the victims at Leifer will be extradited to Australia.
As I started this interview, it's absolutely a great day for justice. I can tell you personally, I've been involved with this case from the very beginning, even from my days in Australia. It only became a public case and an issue only in the last few years. And those brave sisters, it's incredible what they've done in achieving this goal. It is justice. It's an incomplete justice, an imperfect justice, certainly a belated justice. We also expect that the prosecution will accept the recommendations by the Israeli police and to indict former Health Minister Litzman, who is accused to have been involved in this case to try to prevent Leifer from ever being extradited. And the same thing in Australia. Those leaders and rabbis who helped Leifer evade justice need to be held to full account.